I walked into room 318 by mistake. The man lying there was dying completely alone. No flowers, no cards, no visitors. And what he whispered to me in that moment will absolutely shatter you. Stay with me. You need to hear what happened 8 months later. I'm an event planner. I don't work in hospitals. I hate the sterile silence and the weight of grief that hangs in those hallways. But on September 22nd, I walked into the wrong hospital room and met a dying man who would become my husband. And what he told me on our 5th visit about why he was truly alone, the devastating betrayal his fiancée left behind, and what he whispered at the altar will make you believe in miracles again. Don't click away. This ending will wreck you in the best way possible. I had a corporate delivery at Denver Memorial Hospital that afternoon. The order slip said room 380, 3 dozen sunflowers for a tech executive recovering from a minor surgery. I was running behind schedule, stressed, juggling my phone and the massive bouquet. I pushed open the door without knocking. But the man in the bed wasn't my client. He was younger than I expected, maybe 34, devastatingly pale, so thin his cheekbones created hollows in his face, hooked up to more machines than I could count. Dark brown hair slightly disheveled against the pillow. And he was awake, staring at the ceiling with these piercing hazel eyes that looked like they'd watched hope slip away slowly. The room was completely empty. No flowers, no balloons, no cards, no photos of loved ones. Just cold medical equipment and that relentless beeping that screams one word alone. Hit that like button and drop a comment telling me what city you're tuning in from and the part that caught your attention. I want to see how far the story travels. Now, let's begin. I checked my phone one more time. Room 380, 3 dozen sunflowers, standard corporate get-well arrangement. 3rd delivery of the day, 3 more after this. I was already running 20 minutes behind, and my next client's retirement party started at 4. I've been doing this for 6 years. You learn to move fast, smile professionally, and never get emotionally involved with the patients. In and out. That's the rhythm that keeps my business running. I glanced at my phone while navigating the 5th floor corridor, the bouquet blocking half my vision. 318. I pushed the door open without knocking. Professional habit when you're delivering to strangers all day, and stepped inside. But something was immediately, devastatingly wrong. The man in the bed was maybe 34, with dark hair that needed cutting and hazel eyes that seemed too large for his gaunt face. Cancer had carved away everything soft, leaving sharp cheekbones and collarbones that pressed against his hospital gown like they were trying to escape. For lines snaked from both arms. A heart monitor beeped its lonely rhythm. The room was shockingly bare. No flowers, no balloons, no cards taped to the walls, no framed photos of family, no signs that anyone in the world knew he was here. He turned his head slowly, surprised, then smiled. It was the saddest smile I'd ever seen. "You must have the wrong room," he said, his voice weak but oddly gentle. "But thank you for bringing light into this place. I'd forgotten what flowers even looked like." My stomach dropped. "I'm so sorry. I'm looking for 380. I misread my phone." I glanced at the room number on the door, 318. "Wrong floor entirely. Happens more than you'd think," he said, and despite the weakness in his voice, I could hear intelligence there, articulation that spoke of boardrooms and presentations. I shouldn't have asked. I had a schedule to keep, but the emptiness of that room pulled the words out of me. No flowers. No visitors coming today. His hazel eyes held mine. No visitors at all. Not for 26 days. I've been counting. 26 days. The number hit me like a physical blow. Would you like these?" I lifted the sunflowers slightly. "My client won't miss them." His face crumpled. "I couldn't. Please." He reached out with a trembling hand, touched the petals like they might vanish. "The last flowers I got were at my engagement party. 2 years ago." I placed them on his bedside table, noticed a worn paperback, The Alchemist. "Nathan Brooks," he said. "I used to run Medlin's. We make AI diagnostic tools. Built a company that helps doctors catch cancer early, but couldn't catch my own until stage 4. Pancreatic cancer." A bitter laugh. It's about following your personal legend. He gestured to the book. Ironic choice for a dying man. Lily Harper, event planner. I delivered the correct flowers to 380, finished my remaining appointments, drove home. But I couldn't stop seeing that empty room. That sad smile. 26 days. At midnight, I made a decision that would change everything. Tomorrow, I'd go back with my own flowers. I showed up the next afternoon with coffee and blueberry scones from the cafe near my office. When I pushed open the door to 318, Nathan's eyes went wide. You came back. His voice cracked. Why? I felt bad about the mix-up yesterday. Wanted to make sure you got proper flowers. The lie came easily. I'd spent years perfecting professional distance. Nobody comes back. He said it like a fact he'd accepted. Not anymore. Not in almost a year. I stayed 3 hours. The conversation flowed like we'd known each other for years. Nathan told me about building Medlins from his dorm room to a $400 million valuation in 8 years, about his obsession with using AI to save lives, about reading The Lord of the Rings 7 times because Frodo kept going even when hope was gone. He told terrible dad jokes that made me laugh despite myself, talked about his dream of ringing the NASDAQ bell someday. I told him about my event planning business, about losing my dad to cancer 5 years ago, the wound I never quite healed from, about my broken engagement 3 years ago, how I'd learned to keep people at arm's length, afraid of getting attached to anything uncertain. I'll come back tomorrow, I heard myself say. And I did. Day 3. Day 4. Day 5. On day 5, I finally asked the question I'd been avoiding. Nathan, why are you here completely alone? Nathan took a shaky breath, his fingers twisting the hospital blanket. The diagnosis came 14 months ago, right after I proposed to Claire. She was VP of marketing at a competitor firm. We were this perfect power couple. Forbes 30 under 30, the whole thing. His voice dropped. Chemo was brutal. Lost 60 pounds. My hair couldn't work. The board forced me to step down after 3 months. Claire started working late, missing treatments. 2 weeks into chemotherapy, she came here and ended our engagement. He stared at the ceiling. She said, I fell in love with Nathan Brooks, CEO and visionary. Not this. I'm sorry. I can't watch you die. Took the ring, my grandmother's heirloom. Cleaned out our joint accounts, $89,000. Left me a text. You'll understand someday. You need to focus on yourself. I felt rage building in my chest. Insurance covered basics, not experimental treatments. $340,000 in medical debt. Friends disappeared. Too uncomfortable watching their former boss deteriorate. Reminders of mortality they didn't want to face. The board replaced me, stopped including me in updates about my own company. My parents died when I was 22. No siblings. No grandparents. He looked at me with those haunting eyes. Cancer came back aggressively 4 months ago. This hospital became my permanent address. 26 days before you walked in, Lily. 26 days of absolute silence. I stood, moved closer to his bed. Nathan, I'm not going anywhere. You don't get to go through this alone anymore. I'm coming back every single day, and that's not a promise, it's a fact. I kept my promise. Every day after work, I showed up with books, podcasts downloaded on my phone, movies on my laptop, sometimes just my event planning work spread across his bedside table. Week 1, we debated Lord of the Rings versus Harry Potter until Nathan laughed so hard his sides hurt, the first real laugh I'd heard from him. Week 2, I brought my laptop, answered emails while he dozed, our silence comfortable. Week 3, we watched TED Talks about innovation and resilience. During one about legacy, Nathan said, building Medlins was never about money. It was about matching, about leaving something behind that saves lives even after I'm gone. That's when I knew. I was falling in love with him. Week 4, experimental immunotherapy began. The side effects were catastrophic. Severe nausea, blinding pain, exhaustion so complete he couldn't lift his head, fevers that left him delirious. Some days he couldn't speak at all. I held cool cloths to his forehead, Read The Alchemist aloud when he couldn't focus on screens. Slept in the visitor chair because leaving felt impossible. The nurses started calling me Mrs. Brooks. I didn't correct them. Week 6, Marcus finally visited. Nathan's best friend from college, first friend in 10 months. He watched us together, pulled me aside in the hallway. I've never seen him look at anyone the way he looks at you. Not even Claire. Week 8, Dr. Patel found me in the corridor. Are you family? No. I'm a friend. He's listed you as his emergency contact. You're here more than any spouse I've seen. She paused. The tumors aren't shrinking. We need to discuss hospice care. You should prepare yourself. That night, I broke down in the hospital chapel, empty except for me and God. I can't do this again. I can't watch someone I love die. The words hung in the air. I loved him. Please, I whispered. Just give us more time. Let him see life is still worth fighting for. Week 10, Dr. Patel burst into Nathan's room with his blood work, her hand shaking. I've been an oncologist for 22 years. I've never seen a response like this. The immunotherapy is working. Whatever else you're doing, the emotional support, the daily presence, keep doing it. Week 12, Nathan moved out of ICU to the standard oncology floor. He could sit up without help now, walk short distances holding onto the 4-pole, color returning to his face like watercolor bleeding into paper. One evening, he asked the question that had been building between us for weeks. Lily, why do you come here every day? For someone who was a complete stranger? For someone who's dying? I looked at this man who'd been through hell and still cared about my reasons, my feelings, my life outside these walls. Because I'm in love with you, Nathan. I think I have been since week 3. I know it's insane. I know you're sick. I know this might not have a happy ending. But I want to be here. I want every single day I can get with you. Tears streamed down his face. Lily, you can't love me. Look at me. I'm not the man I was. Even if this works, the cancer could come back. You should be with someone healthy. Someone with a future. You are my future, however long that is. You think you're not the man you were? Nathan, you're more. You've shown me courage I didn't know existed. You've made me laugh in a cancer ward. You've reminded me why I used to believe in miracles. You've given me you. That's everything. This is completely insane. Best wrong turn I ever made. He reached for my face with both hands, still thin, but stronger now, and pulled me close. I love you too. I've been fighting it, because falling in love with you felt like setting you up for heartbreak. But I can't help it. You're the reason I want to survive this. We kissed. Gentle, because he was still fragile, but full of promise. Month 5, Dr. Patel walked in with Nathan's scans, tears streaming down her face. Nathan, your tumors have shrunk by 87%. You're approaching complete remission. This is a miracle. Month 6, Nathan was discharged after 8 months as a patient. He had nowhere to go. His apartment gone, possessions sold to cover medical bills he couldn't pay. I didn't hesitate. You're moving in with me. A new routine began. Nathan did physical therapy, gradually regaining strength. I planned events while he helped strategize, his brilliant business mind returning. We cooked together, Nathan relearning how to enjoy food. Watched documentaries, took slow walks around my neighborhood, talked for hours about the future we were building. Simple. Perfect. Learning to live again. Month 7, I was invited to speak at the MedTech Summit about corporate event planning. An idea sparked. Come with me. As my +1. Nathan's face went pale. I haven't seen those people since they pushed me out. I'm not ready. You're not going as the old Nathan. You're going as the man who survived. As my person. At the summit, former colleagues stared. Board members approached with awkward apologies, shock at his recovery written across their faces. During a panel on AI innovation, the moderator recognized Nathan in the audience. Mr. Brooks, would you share your thoughts on Medlins's new diagnostic algorithm? Nathan stood, spoke eloquently about human resilience, about how facing mortality had transformed his understanding of AI's role in healthcare. Standing ovation. His industry hadn't forgotten his brilliance. That evening, at the closing gala, I did the impossible. Walked on stage, 500 tech executives watching. Nathan's former world holding its breath. Nathan Brooks, you walked into my life by mistake, or maybe fate, when you were at your lowest. You've shown me what real strength looks like. You've taught me that the best things in life are worth the risk. Will you marry me? Nathan, sobbing, yes. 1,000 times yes. Month 8, we got married in the chapel at Denver Memorial Hospital, the same place where I'd walked into room 318 by mistake. 30 people witnessed our vows. My mother and sisters, Dr. Patel, and the nurses who'd called me Mrs. Brooks long before it was true. Marcus's best man, Nathan's Medlin's team, even the new CEO, even the board members who'd forced him out, who came to apologize. My event planning clients who'd become friends. Nathan wore a sharp navy suit, still thin but healthy, glowing alive. I wore an elegant champagne dress with sunflowers in my bouquet. The officiant smiled. We're gathered in this hospital where Lily walked into the wrong room and found exactly what she wasn't looking for. Nathan's vows. Lily, you saw me when I was invisible. You chose me when everyone else walked away. You loved me when I couldn't love myself. You didn't just save my life, you gave me a reason to fight for it. I love you more than all the algorithms and innovations I'll ever create. Mine. Nathan, you taught me that wrong turns lead to right places. That miracles happen in room 318. That love is worth the risk. You're my impossible, my miracle, my forever. You may kiss your husband. I kissed Nathan like he was oxygen and I'd been drowning. The reception filled the hospital cafeteria. I transformed it with my professional touch. Sunflowers everywhere. Nathan stood to speak. 14 months ago I prayed to die. I begged God to let me go because being alive and alone felt worse than being dead. I had lost everything. My company, my fiancé, my identity, my health. I had given up completely. Then Lily walked into my room by mistake with sunflowers meant for someone else. And she came back. Nobody ever came back. But she did. Every single day. His voice broke. Lily, you walked into the wrong room. But it was exactly the right place. You saw me. You chose me. You loved me when I was unlovable. You didn't just save my life. You reminded me why life is worth living. I love you more than every line of code I've ever written, every innovation I've ever created. You're my miracle. I pulled him into my arms, whispered against his neck. I love you forever. That was 3 years ago. 3 years later, Nathan is cancer-free. Every scan shows no return. 3 years of doctors using words like unprecedented and miraculous. Nathan went back to Medlin's, not as CEO, but as Chief Innovation Officer. His perspective on life and death transformed the company's mission. Medlin's now creates AI tools specifically for early cancer detection. The company went public 18 months ago. Nathan rang the NASDAQ bell with me beside him, both of us crying. My event planning business is thriving. I specialize in hospital charity events now, bringing beauty into places that need it most. We bought a house in Boulder with a huge garden. I grow sunflowers now. They remind me of September 22nd, the day everything changed. Last month, the real miracle happened. We've been approved to adopt from foster care. A 3-year-old girl named Hope survived neglect, found in a hospital, now thriving. We met her for the first time at Denver Memorial. Full circle. Hope saw Nathan and immediately reached for him. He cried, "We're going to be a family." Finalization date, 2 months away. We're naming our family foundation Room 318, dedicated to supporting isolated cancer patients, so nobody has to count days alone. People ask, how did this happen? How did you fall in love with a dying stranger? How did he survive? I tell them the truth. I don't know. I walked into the wrong room. One door, one mistake, one moment of being lost, and it led me exactly where I was supposed to be. Here's what I need you to understand. Sometimes the wrong turn is the right path. Sometimes getting lost is how you find everything. Sometimes the greatest love of your life is waiting in a place you never meant to be. I wasn't supposed to be in room 318. Nathan wasn't supposed to survive. We weren't supposed to fall in love. We weren't supposed to get married. We definitely weren't supposed to be adopting a daughter. But we are. Because I made one tiny choice: to leave flowers with a dying stranger. To come back the next day. To choose compassion over convenience. To choose love over self-protection. If this story destroyed you and put you back together, if it made you believe miracles still happen, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm sharing real stories about real people who chose love when it made no sense, who showed up when everyone else walked away. Drop a comment and tell me about your own wrong turn that led you exactly where you needed to be. Share this with someone who's lost hope, who needs to believe impossible things still happen. Hit that like button if you believe the best things in life happen by accident, that wrong rooms lead to right people, that love finds us when we're completely lost. Nathan was dying alone in room 318. I was a stranger with sunflowers for someone else. 8 months later, he became my husband. 3 years later, we're adopting our daughter, Hope. And every day, I thank God I got lost. Because sometimes the wrong room is exactly where you're supposed to be. Sometimes miracles look like mistakes. Sometimes love saves lives in ways medicine never could. Thank you for staying until the end. Now go watch the next video.